is a Bramble Jam podcast. Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark movies.
I'm Dan. I despise Hallmark movies.
I am Victor Webster, and I've been in a few Hallmark movies.
And this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Yes, it is.
Boy, oh boy.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Another Wednesday, another fantastic interview. I mean, we haven't done it yet.
We haven't. I feel
But
good
I
about
feel
it.
good.
I feel good about it.
I feel good about it. Victor Webster, welcome. First time on Deck the Hallmark. We're very happy to have you, my friend.
I'm happy to be here. That's a catchy tune. That just got me all warmed up.
That's
ready
right.
to go.
That's right. You feel like you can do a little like Irish dance to it if you want to.
That's right. For sure.
That's great.
I'm doing a jig right here in my seat.
Yeah, I love it.
Victor,
I love it.
you have IMDb credits all the way back to the 1990s. So you've been doing this a while. How does it feel to reach the pinnacle of your career here on Deck the Hallmark?
I'm telling you, you really know you've made it.
That's right. That's right.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It does look like you're maybe in a sauna. Are you in a sauna?
What are you in a steam room?
Where are you at right
you
now?
getting a good sweat?
I'm in my little breakfast nook. It's got the best lighting. I'm far away from the construction that's outside. Normally, I would do this in the room that's in the back, but they're pounding away, building a house back there. So
Oh, it looks great, though. It
Man,
looks great.
He thought it through. He thought it through
He
from an
did.
audio standpoint. He understands.
And that's all we can ask for. Are you a California guy?
Originally born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, which is like the Texas of Canada, basically, you know, oil and beef and rodeos and country music. And then moved to California when I was 13 years old.
So, time out. When you say, I was with you, you said like oil and beef, but then you said country music. Are they really listening to country music in Alberta, Calgary, Alberta?
Calgary is one of the biggest country music. They have country bars all over the place. They have the Calgary Stampede, which is one of the biggest rodeos. A whole week of chuck wagon races, two-stepping. They put sawdust on the floors, bring in mechanical bulls. They got to import people from other provinces to come and work during that. I mean, I don't know what it's like now in these strange times, but weirdness, it was huge.
Wow.
Do they have like barbecue? Like, what is it? The whole Texas package?
But they got everything. They got barbecue. I mean, Alberta beef is one of the, they've got amazing beef up there. So all the steaks and filet. And then in the mornings, they have pancake breakfasts. Where they serve you, pancakes with a piece of bacon cooked into the pancakes.
Stop it. Are you serious?
Man, God is real,
God
man.
is real. I can't believe that the South, here in South Carolina, we get this, reputation of serving terrible food, fried everything. It sounds like people should be looking at Calgary, Alberta area is what it sounds like. A bacon in a pancake. I'm here for that.
I love that. That's a great
let's
idea.
do it, man.
Man, every time I hear things about Canada, I'm like, this place is just magical.
Yeah, why
It's
are
just
we
magical.
moving there? No
It's
kidding.
just magical. Victor, thanks for joining us. You just had Matchmaker. What number is it?
Third one?
Third one?
Third one.
Yeah, that just aired. We're going to talk about that and a whole bunch of other stuff. But first, take us back to the beginning when you first kind of fell in love with acting. What were you doing as a kid? How did you first realize this was something you were into, and how did it evolve to kind of becoming something to pursue?
Oh, that's such an interesting question. I guess I started acting when I was really young. Without actually calling it acting. So I had a whole trunk. When I was a kid growing up, there was a character on TV called Mr. Dress Up. And he would dress up with all these different characters all the time. So I had a trunk of costumes. So I had weeks where I dressed up as James Bond and went to school.
Wow.
Then I went through a Michael Jackson phase. Then I went through like a superhero phase where I'd wrap a towel around my neck and I broke my leg jumping off the roof, looking at the towel like flapping behind me. I was just always playing all these different characters, I played Linus in the Snoopy play at school when I was a kid, but I never really wanted to pursue acting. It was just fun playing all these different characters. It wasn't until I was in my late 20s that I kind of fell into acting. I was a stockbroker at an import-export company.
Wow.
I was teaching martial arts. I sold ladies' shoes, construction, donuts door to door. Like I did everything you can imagine, right?
Victor, you just that sentence gave us an hour to talk about. I don't even know. You just threw in donuts door to door as the last one. What am I supposed to? You got to just hold on real quick. First of all, how old were you when you had the trunk of outfits? How old was that?
It was like 16.
Probably. Yeah, I was 26. I was probably 8, 9 years old.
Your parents, you're in Alberta, and your parents, they just rolled with it. They were just like, "This is who we got. This is our kid. He's got a trunk outfit."
Well, my parents went around a lot. You know, I had to entertain myself. My brother was usually at school. My dad was a police officer. My mom was a hairdresser. She was at work all the time. So I was left to my own devices and usually getting into some sort of trouble all the time.
Wow. Interesting. And so when did you pick up the martial arts side of things? Because if you were teaching martial arts, that means you had to be pretty good in martial. Like, are you a black belt or what kind of martial arts are we talking?
Yeah, I've got 2 black belts, one in Taekwondo and one in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, that's you. That's where you're good. Brazilian
dude, man,
Jiu-Jitsu
we can spar all day long. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
At the end of the day, a belt just holds up your pants. You know what I mean? It doesn't really mean a whole lot. It's
what all
it's a
the
good
black
goal
belts
to attain.
Man,
but I was a problem child. You know, I was always getting into trouble. And so my dad, being a very strict police officer, is like, "Oh, that's not happening with my kid." So he enrolled me in martial arts judo when I was 9 years old.
Wow. So when we talk about getting into trouble, were you ever in like trouble with the law and got a break because old dad was working with the police?
Never got a break, but possibly to the previous statement.
Possibly. He won't go on record. I love it. So I understand now. You got 2 black belts and you're clearly still in good shape. Tell me about donuts door to door.
He holds up his 2 black belts
and then he's like,
and then he says,
donuts.
"Buy the donuts."
Buy these donuts or else I will break you like a brick. I think, it wasn't a very good business for me because I ate more than I sold. So I would go door to door and I would sell frozen donuts. I would have a little cooler strapped over my shoulder, and then I would knock on the door and I'd be like, "Hey, Mrs. Johnson," or whoever, if I knew the person. If not, I'm like, "Hi, I'm selling donuts for this company. They're frozen." So yeah, it didn't go very well. Obviously because I would, 10 o'clock at night, finish watching TV. I'd be like, "Oh, I got some donuts in the freezer there." And I think maybe I ended up paying out of pocket.
So, and we're jumping all over the place, but I just feel like I have to cover all this before we get to acting because it's fascinating. You said you moved to California when you were 13. Your father is a police officer. Mom's a hairdresser. It seemed like 2 jobs that are pretty sedentary, stationary jobs that you wouldn't move. A big move from Canada to California. What made this happen? What was the catalyst behind that big of a move?
Well, my parents got divorced when I was 9. I moved when I was 13. My stepfather was a project manager for a construction company, and he got sent to Southern California to build this hotel.
Ah, there it is. Gotcha. So how was that? Was that tough? 13-year-old moving. I moved when I was 10, and it was brutal. How was that?
It was very, very, very different. I got my acid wash jean jacket. I'm listening to, Motley Crue and White Snake. And I show up basically to the Beach Boys where you got 0 period surfing class and, cut off Billabong shorts. I took, I also had really long hair. I was a really pretty kind of feminine kid. So I got picked on a lot when I first got to school. And that created some issues, but we got through it.
I'm just imagining AC Slater showing up at Bayside.
That's right.
Yeah, Zach Morris is trying to fit in. Yeah, that's what I'm imagining.
It's hard for me to imagine Victor Webster with his 2 black belts getting picked on at school. That's a tough one for me. But I'm not saying it didn't happen. Yeah. But man, that's different environment.
That's where a lot of the problems. My problem is I loved training martial arts, but I didn't actually want to get into altercations with people. And so, when people were picking on me, I would have a tendency just to walk away, which is what we're taught in actual martial arts, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it'd be tough and you just didn't have a choice. You'd have to stand up for yourself and then I would get in trouble for doing that. So it was a really a double-edged sword, and it was kind of a weird thing to navigate, but got through it.
So California, moving to California when you were 13 wasn't the beginning of falling in love with acting for you, which you we would think you go to California, fall in love with acting. People are going there for that. You didn't. It was later on in life. And so talk about you're doing all these jobs in your 20s. You're trying to figure it out and survive. When did acting kind of become a thing where you're like, I want to try it here late in my 20s?
Well, I went through a lot of stuff, like I said, all those jobs that I listed and, many more. And then I did a little stint of modeling when I was 18. And then I was like, this really isn't for me. I mean, I get to travel the world, but it doesn't feel challenging for me. Like, I'm not developing a skill. I'm not, there's no room to really grow. So then I stopped that and, became a stockbroker and nightclub promoter and all teaching martial arts. But then wasn't until I came back, I tried the modeling thing again in between jobs. I'm like, well, I want to travel, get paid for it. So I went and lived in Italy for 8 months. I went and lived in Spain for 4 months, and that was absolutely incredible. And I got back, and my modeling agent was like, you should try commercials. You can make quite a bit of money in a very short period of time. And so I said, okay, I started taking some commercial acting workshops, and then really kind of started falling in love with acting. So I started taking acting classes, and I did one class a week. And then at one point I loved it so much that I was doing 4 classes a week, and I really jumped in. I mean, I took theater classes in school, and I went to college for a couple of years and did theater classes there. But like I said, it was fun. But it wasn't until that point when I jumped in and started doing 3-4 acting classes a week that I really fell in love with it.
So like commercial acting workshops, is it like how to eat a burger without looking gross? Like, what do you learn in commercial acting workshops?
Exactly. How not to get the special sauce all over
That's
yourself.
That's right. Yeah.
It's basically, how to work a room, how to slate, where to look, how to do this, how to find your mark, all the technical basic things. When a director says this, what do they mean?
Yeah,
and
it's like the fundamentals of being on set.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The stuff that you don't learn until you're actually on set, and it kind of prepares you a little bit. But a lot of it was just seeing yourself on camera. So they would record you being put through reading script off a page or doing silly things, interacting with your scene partner for this, phone commercial thing or whatever it is. And then you would watch it at the end of class. And, I had a lot of really bad tics when I started. I used to blink a lot, and then I used to not know what to do with my hands. And, so it helped me really recognize that those were issues because, and I never didn't know that until you watch yourself. And, I come from a sports background, so if I can see something, then I can fix it.
What was the big commercial break for you? Like the first commercial you landed that would be memorable or that we would have heard of?
Oh, I did a Michael Bay directed commercial.
Wow.
For Levi's jeans. I know, right?
The jeans just explode.
That's right. There's just everywhere.
There's really cool lens flares. And
So let me ask you this, Michael, that's like, I'm assuming mid to early 90s. Michael Bay isn't the household. He's close. I mean, Michael Bay in the 90s I'm pretty sure he was involved with Con Air and some other movies. Like Michael Bay probably isn't the household name yet that he is now. What was he like on set? Like, did he still have like a swagger about him? Cause he is one of a kind from a personality standpoint, love him or hate him. Like he stands out as a personality. Was that who he was?
100%. I mean, he was great with me. I had no problems whatsoever. But if you weren't pulling your weight, then that wasn't okay with him, which, I understand. If you're shooting a commercial, you've got a lot of money on the line, you've got a certain amount of time to do it. He just didn't put up with any BS. But, when I work, I try to come as prepared, and I'm in it as a team player, trying to make sure that we get everything done as quickly and as well as we possibly can do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Did your modeling manager, you mentioned that person encouraged you to kind of do commercial stuff. Did that person stay with you and start getting you gigs, or did you at that point, once commercials start taking off, get a different type of manager and start pursuing other types of work in front of the camera?
No, they were part of an agency that had a commercial department, and
Okay.
I just went with them. And then they started representing me theatrically. So the commercials happened, and then the natural progression at that point for, a decent looking guy with decent acting was to do soap operas. So I started auditioning for soap operas, and that's when I really booked my first acting role.
In your first acting role, I see The Lot, which was a TV series. You had like one episode, but then it was Days of Our Lives. After that, you were on 84 episodes of Days of Our Lives.
And Sunset
I
Beach.
went Sunset Beach.
Yeah.
And that was like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 episodes. I played the bartender. And then it was Days of Our Lives for about a year and a half. And then I did a series regular on The Lot, which only went one season. And The Lot was the coolest show. It was one of AMC's, if not the first, one of the first scripted programming shows that they did themselves. And it was about a 1940s film studio.
What?
And I got to play like a Clark Gable type character.
Oh my goodness.
And we took real life stories from the past and worked them into the scripts.
Wow. And
That's fascinating.
I want to watch this show, and I can't, it's hard to find any information.
I got
on
to
it.
sword fight with Michael York.
Yeah, Michael York,
doing
Linda Cardellini. There's some this looks great.
Yeah, it was an awesome show.
Yeah.
Now, really quickly, forgive me for not knowing the ins and outs of Days of Our Lives, but you were
dare you.
Yeah, I know. You were the second actor to play this character.
Nicholas Alamain.
You were the second actor.
Yeah, I don't know how this all the exact number, but I think he was 9 years old when he left the show or something like
Okay.
that. And then I
Gotcha.
came back a couple years later as a late 20s. And then I think they might have even done another character, Nicholas, after I left. I'm not sure.
So
Did you die?
Let me ask you this.
Did they kill you off?
No, I didn't die. I just left.
So you could still be brought back, guys. There's still hope.
Nicholas
I
Alamain.
can still come back.
Bring him back
Amen.
20 years later.
Not that if you were dead, they couldn't bring you
No,
back. Because
of
I mean,
course
listen,
not.
it's soap operas.
What's the?
That's not out of the realm of possibility.
I know this
for
was
sure.
20 years ago, but what's the craziest storyline that Nicholas was a part of on Days of Our Lives?
I had the first ever, how do I put this in PG terms?
Do your best, man. Whatever you got to do. We got an edit button. This isn't live.
Below the south of the border scene.
Wow. You had the
Yeah.
first ever.
In Days
Apparently
history?
the first ever on daytime television. It was a dream sequence. I walk out of an office shower into like an office. I don't know why somebody would have a shower in their office, but I walk out in a towel. And the character were, smooching and doing all that stuff. And then, you get the rest of the picture.
Wow. You made history, man.
Did they train you for that at when you went to the commercial things? Did they train you for that?
No, you're
Yeah,
gonna
just to get into the acting workshop. Yeah.
you're gonna be in. Look, it's gonna happen. Happens to all of us. We're in a scene. This is a shower office scene.
Shower
You know the
office.
kind.
We've been there.
Dude, so 85 episodes on Days of Our Lives. We've talked to some other actors who have been on soaps on this show, and they're going through, so many pages of dialogue in a day. I mean, it's crazy. And because most of the time, you hear Hallmark shoots in 15 days and it's a feature length film. That seems like a lot, but from a pages standpoint, it's nothing compared to what you would do on a soap opera in a week if you were working in a week. Which do you prefer? Like, do you prefer that quick, I just got to memorize everything? Or do you like what's your best working environment from a film standpoint?
Okay, so just a little tidbit that I'll add before I answer that question. So I worked for a year as a series regular on Days of Our Lives, and then two of the people in my storyline dropped off the show and didn't renew their contracts, and so they didn't know what to do with me. I was just kind of like floundering. So they let me go to recurring status and then brought me back, a day or two a week or something like that. And then I booked The Lot, started working on that full time. So I had 6-7 pages a day on The Lot every single day. And then I would come in on the weekends and shoot Days of Our Lives.
Oh, wow.
The last day that I did Days of Our Lives, I did 75 pages of dialogue.
Oh my God.
31 scenes. We shot it in 5 hours, and then my character was gone.
Oh my
But
gosh.
that was also working on the other show during the week. So I felt like my brain was going to explode. But to answer the question you just asked, I like having a little bit of time. I start memorizing my dialogue 3 or 4 days in advance. I have a little app on my phone where I record the other person's lines and I listen to that and then just do my lines in between. I fold the laundry, I cook dinner, I take my dog on the walk. Every time I do a different thing, I do the lines a different way. So I don't ever get set into doing something one way. And the way I like to work is I never do a take the same way twice. I do a different inflection, or I throw a little ad lib in there, or I do a little different something. I kind of shoot from the hip a little bit more than maybe some actors, but that's just the way I work.
I love that. Have you ever been on a Hallmark movie set where you're only going to get 1 or 2 takes, and are you the guy that wants a lot of takes? Like, are you like, hey, can we get one more of these? Or are you just comfortable with, hey, I understand, we only got 1 or 2, let's move?
We only get 1 or 2, let's move, unless I know that something needs to change, then I'll ask for one more. I know that I'll get an opportunity, 1 or 2 takes in the wide, 1 or 2 takes in the medium, 1 or 2 takes in the close up. So I can mix and match in there, and I'll let the editors do the rest. But if I really think that on a close up I didn't get where I wanted to go or deliver the message properly, I'll ask for one more. But I'm pretty reserved about asking for more takes.
Was it days that allowed you to finally hang up the donuts and do acting full time? Was that when you were finally able to go for it?
I'll tell you, you know what? Once you get into the business, you get your first job, you're like, oh man, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's do this. Now the jobs are just going to start rolling in. It's not like that, man. I started off to a roaring start, right? Days of Our Lives. I got the lead on the lot. I got 2 years guaranteed on Mutant X. We ended up doing 3. We're scheduled to do 4, but they had a falling out with Fox. So I went from one show to another show to another show. I'm like, and then I screen tested for Superman.
When you say screen tested for Superman, do you mean like to be Superman?
Yeah.
Is that
I put
McG?
the suit on. Brett Ratner was there, did the whole thing. It was me, Ashton Kutcher,
wow.
I think Paul Walker, Mark Blucas. There's a few other people that were in the running. Anyway, that whole movie ended up getting scrapped. But, I thought, whoa, I'm in. Let's do this. And then
yeah, yep.
Everything came to a screeching halt. And I was like, whoa, okay, not so much. And then but since I've started acting, I haven't had to do anything else. I just had to learn very quickly that this business is peaks and valleys, ebbs and flows. Save your money, invest wisely, and just work your butt off. And it's a numbers game.
And you knew a stockbroker, so that was good for you early on. But this is the thing. I know this is about you, Victor. Brandon looks very surprised. You're not the first person to tell us that you had a Superman audition for a movie that never happened. Brandon, the Superman property, so many directors were attached. Tim Burton was attached. Wow. McG was attached. Brett Ratner was attached. They did screen tests. They did auditions. Luke McFarlane auditioned for Superman with McG directing. Brett Ratner, there's so many, and then none of them got made. None of them got made. Bryan Singer finally made one with Brandon Routh, but the fact that all of these, yeah, no kidding. But this Superman was something that they tried to remake for almost a decade before it actually finally got made again, which is wild. But
I'll tell you, man, the one that I auditioned for, the script was written by J.J. Abrams.
Oh, what?
Whoa.
Oh my goodness, was it amazing. You know how when they came and they redid Batman, the whole origin story?
Nolan,
I mean, they explained everything in this script, like why he wears glasses, because they were filled with little pieces of lead so that he didn't fry people until he learned to use his powers, and that's why he put the glasses on. It wasn't just a thing for a disguise. Everything had a reason. It was so good. The storyline was amazing, and it never got. I still have the script somewhere. It's absolutely incredible.
I want to read the script, Victor. How much can I pay you to scan it into me? Because JJ, I don't know how that didn't get made.
There's a JJ Abrams Superman out there.
JJ Abrams is shopping another version of Superman right now, from what I understand.
Oh wow!
He wants to make it again.
He's incredible. He's one of my favorite directors.
Well, he wants to direct it this time, but Brett Ratner. Well, Brett Ratner has a Michael Bay kind of aura about him, and people talk about him. It's a love-hate thing, but Brett Ratner made the Rush Hour movies, made the third X-Men movie.
Brett Ratner's awesome.
J.J. Abrams J.J. Abrams writing, Brett Ratner directing. How does that movie not get made? How does that fall through the cracks?
I mean, I heard all kinds of rumors. I don't know anything for sure.
Yeah,
it's Hollywood. It's Hollywood. There's so many moving parts to getting something made. It's really hard to say why something does or doesn't.
That's crazy. Listen, I do have to ask this because we're hurtling forward, and you've got such a career that I feel like I could hear stories from everything you did. Days of Our Lives, 99 to 2000. In 2001, you were on, at least by IMDb standards, 5 different TV shows. And then you pick up the series regular in Mutant X in 01 as well. So you're a busy dude in 01. I mean, you were just, you're on everything in 01. You must have been going to auditions left and right. And my question is, and I ask this to every actor, is there a particularly bad audition, like a bad, like that you can remember, just one where you went in and you just left going, man, life doesn't get worse than this. That was awful.
Oh my goodness. I've got quite a few, but I got one that sticks out of my mind. It's for one of the biggest casting directors in Hollywood. I think it was for like a werewolf thing, maybe an underworld movie. I don't know. I don't really remember. But so my character goes through a lot of loss in the script. And so one of the scenes they picked was at the end, I'm on this phone call. I get a phone call. Actually, no, this wasn't. It was for it was like a drama movie. Anyway, so it goes through a lot of loss. I get a phone call. So in the scene, I'm like, okay, I'm going to use my phone. I have to cry in the scene. My phone is turned off, but I had one of those phones where you touch one of the buttons and the phone turns back on.
Oh no.
So I didn't know it. So I'm on my phone doing the scene. I'm getting to the point. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh no.
Voice message alerts come through. Cast director's like, okay, try again. Turn my phone off, turn it off.
Oh no.
Go to use it again. Now I'm doing the scene again. My phone starts ringing. No. It turns on again. Now I'm just getting pissed, and I'm supposed to be getting emotional and like cry. So then I take the battery out of my phone. I'm like all aggressive about it. I'm like, throw it on the ground. Take my phone. Now it has no battery in it whatsoever. Talking on the phone. This is one of those old like Nokia brick phones.
Yeah.
And I'm talking on the phone, and I'm getting there, and it's awesome. I start like tearing up, and I start crying, and snot is coming out of my nose. Like I look down, snot is not coming out of my nose. It's blood. My nose starts bleeding. I start bleeding all over the carpet of the casting director's floor. And she's just like, somebody get him a tissue, please. And it's like, I get allergies and I get really dry during certain types of year. And sometimes my nose bleeds, I don't know if you guys have that issue. But
yeah.
Anyway, so I'm like crying in the scene. I got this like blood all over the ground. I'm like on my hands and knees trying to scrub it up. And and they're like, don't worry about it. We'll have it professionally cleaned. Thank you very much. I stuffed the tissue up my nose and walked out the door.
And you did not book that one, I don't think.
I did not book that one.
Man,
what you didn't know is we were looking for someone with a nosebleed.
That's perfect. It was you. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it was really embarrassing. I don't think I've ever seen that casting director ever again.
Get out of town. That usually is how those stories end, by the way. And that casting director
a lot of
never.
Casting directors, they have a little book, and they write in their book, and they write the person's name. And I'm sure now they do it on the computer, but they'll write, nosebleed guy, don't ever bring back again, or something like that. Like they don't give you a chance, and they don't. I guess sometimes they just don't think that you can grow and learn, and maybe you're just having a bad day. Sometimes they just hold a grudge against you and never see you again. I have one casting director that didn't see me for 10 years. Finally, my manager convinced them to see me again, and I booked the job that I auditioned for.
Wow.
Now I see them all the time.
Wow.
So,
man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about high pressure, man. If you got
a lot of pressure, man. It's
crazy.
A lot of no's. It's a lot of doors being slammed in your face, and it's like you'll go on hundreds of auditions and maybe book a couple, and one of those can change your career, and one of those could just put a little bit of money in the bank.
Well, I mean, you've done so much, and I've got so many questions, and we'll just have to have you back on, obviously, but like, are you still grinding like that? Like, are you still going on that many auditions? I mean, it seems like you're an offer guy on Hallmark, and you've pretty much done, you've done so much. Are you still like doing 100 auditions or are you that active still?
No, I'm doing a few more. The business has changed a lot, and the climate of the business has changed a lot. I'm in my late 40s now. There's different roles. Where the business kind of is right now is not necessarily for a mid to late 40s Caucasian actor. But there's still some really good roles out there, and we're also a little more picky and choosy about the things that we do. But yeah, I'm still doing auditions. Everything's done on tape now. You don't go and see anybody in a room anymore, which I like because I can direct myself and give myself notes and then do it again. And you know.
For sure.
Yeah, you're always, the thing about this business is there's always the next level. So you get to one level and you're like, okay, to get to the next level, you need to basically start all over again.
Wow.
And that just repeats and repeats and repeats. So until you're doing, Brad Pitt level work, you're constantly breaking through to the next level and starting all over again.
Yeah.
You mentioned after Mutant X, things dried up a little bit for you. You're just kind of doing one-offs, an episode here, an episode there. Was there a point where you were just so discouraged or frustrated that you were willing to hang it up? Did it ever cross your mind to do that after having such a blitz of a start and just getting boom, boom, great roles, long lasting, and then it dries up a little bit? What was that like for you as an actor, but also as a person who wants to do this and love it and also live?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a recurring theme. I kind of fight with staying in this business all the time. Sometimes I'll just be like, I want to go and do something else. What can I do that gives me the freedom to travel and to have some time off and to do the things that I love to do and still make the money to get by? But I really love what I do. Yeah, there's quite a few times where I, questioned things and really did some soul searching as to whether or not I wanted to stay in the business. And the business is kind of funny. Like, the business is almost alive in the sense that as soon as it can feel you walking away from it, it gives you a little something to keep you in.
Yeah, it's a Godfather.
It's like, I can't tell you how many people, I think Robert Pattinson has a story where he came home from his Twilight audition to find an eviction notice on his door. And he's like, this is my last audition. I'm not doing this anymore. If I don't book this one, I'm out. And he books it, and
Bingo.
look where he is now. Like, I have some stories like that too, where I'm just like, this is my last audition. I'm not doing this anymore. And then all of a sudden booked it. And then it's like, if you really, really want it so bad, and it's like, holding your hands, trying to hold water in your hands. If you try and squeeze that, it goes between your fingers. You can't actually grab a hold of it. It's very elusive. The business is that sense. If you're desperate for it, it also does not provide for you. So it's weird.
Yeah. So you've been either a regular, recurring, or you've been on a show in more than 5 episodes on well over a half dozen television programs. So where you were around for more than one episode. I'm not talking about showing up for one episode of CSI. I'm talking about 5, 6 episodes. I'm talking about you've been there and been a presence on that show that fans of the show would see you and go, oh, I know you. You were on X. Which of those shows, because everyone always says they work with the best crew in the business and the crew's amazing and the cast is amazing, blah, blah, blah. We're like a big family, blah, blah, blah. And that's how the business is, because if you're not nice, people won't hire you. But which of those shows felt like the most of that was the actual best cast, crew, family environment? Like, which one was the best? The one that felt like you just was or was your favorite?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. You made one statement there. If you're not nice, people won't hire you. That is completely untrue in this business. If you have, and I don't come across that very often, but there are some divas, men and women, that I've worked with that are absolute horrible people to work with, and they keep working. But it's because they have some sort of a value to distributors or to production companies, and they know that people want to see them, whether they have 1 million or 2 million followers on Instagram, or distributors really like them because they were a lead in this movie with this person, and they know that they can sell them in certain foreign districts based on their name, whatever it is, but they keep working. But I've worked on quite a few, and I'm Canadian, so I've worked on a lot of Canadian productions. So everybody up there is generally nicer, but I would have to say, of all of them, Continuum was probably the most family. Like I would go out and have drinks with the Grips, or I'd go to the, camera truck afterwards and have a beer, or I'd hang out with our cast and do like mystery, play board games and go to movies and things like that.
Oh, awesome.
And I knew everybody's name and I knew what their kids were up to. And that probably felt the most family oriented. And I did that show for 4 years.
Wow. Yeah. And my last TV question, I know Brand's got questions. You did CSI, CSI Miami, NCIS. Which show is the best to work on of those three?
Oh, if I had my sunglasses, I'd have to do the David Caruso. But David Caruso,
right.
It's funny. They've got a certain color palette on that
yes.
show. And if you watch their shows, you'll see a certain color palette throughout the show, whether it be blue, orange, and green. And everything has a blue, orange, or green tint. That was a super fun show. And I like, you'll notice when I play the leads on stuff, I'm usually the good guy. When I do like one-offs or a couple episodes, a lot of times I'm the bad guy. So I get to mix it up in my career doing that.
Which do you prefer? Do you like to be do you like being the villain, or you like being the good guy?
I really like playing villains a lot because it's so opposite of my character, so to speak. I'll be the guy that'll stop my car in the middle of the road to help an old lady cross the street, So to play a villain is really, really fun because it allows me to really act and find a character rather than just playing a version of myself.
No, I'm not buying it. I don't think you're that nice. I ain't buying it. You've done so many different types of roles and genres and stuff like that. Is there a type of character or a type of film that you haven't gotten to do yet that you would love to do, eventually?
I mean, along those same lines, I'd love to play a really, really dark character. Like, I don't know, a serial killer would be interesting. Somebody, that has a lot of layers, maybe somebody that wasn't that way to begin with, and then stuff happened in his life and you see the transition. The Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, seeing that transition, something like that as a challenge would be absolutely incredible.
Were you about to say
go for it.
So I lost it when I thought you raised your hand. So you go ahead and then I'll get it back.
That's fine. Is there a particular, are you a big movie goer? Do you like to watch films?
I love movies.
Okay. So what's your go-to? Like, what's your favorite movie? Like, or your go-to movie that you're like, this is it. This is the thing.
I mean, genre or a specific movie?
Either.
If it's a rainy day, I'm going to throw something in.
Yeah. Rainy day, throw something in. And then I'd love to hear your favorite movie too. Like, just in general.
Okay, so rainy day, throw something in. It's probably Big Trouble in Little China or Anchorman.
Okay.
Or an old Bruce Lee movie, maybe. Genre, I love action comedies. You mentioned the Rush Hour franchise earlier. I think those are super fun. I really like a lot of these new superhero movies where they're infusing a lot of comedy into them.
Yeah. Have you gotten to utilize your martial arts in much during the TV? Like, is there something that I could go and find you and watch you where you're using your, has that ever helped you get a job in one of these shows?
Yeah, I've done a bunch of action movies. I did 2 Scorpion King movies.
That's right.
I did a fight scene with probably about, I don't know, there's 400 extras, and I had a massive fight scene. I got picked up by an elephant and thrown and tore my ACL and had to fight for 2 days on a torn ACL.
Wow.
I almost got decapitated, riding a camel.
I mean, wait a minute. Time out. Did you get thrown by an actual elephant? Like a real elephant?
Yeah. So we were shooting a movie, Scorpion King 3 in Thailand. And part of the thing was a ninja or ninja-like character kicks me into an elephant. The elephant wraps his tusk around me, picks me up, and throws me.
What?
And we had to train the elephant to do that. And I didn't have a stunt double in those movies. So I had to do all of the stunts and martial arts stuff myself. Oh, I tackled Kimbo Slice off of a 30-foot waterfall. All kinds of stuff.
What was Kimbo Slice doing in the movies? What movies Kimbo Slice in?
He played one of the bad guys in Scorpion King 3. Dave Bautista, I would think it was his first acting role. He was in that as well. Ron Perlman was in that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So the actual elephant picks you up by his tusk and throws you in the air.
Yep.
And you tear your ACL.
About 13 times. And on the last time is when my ACL tore. And we had 400 extras. We're out 6 hours away from the nearest city. I'm like, just give me 6 Advil. Let's keep going.
So
I had to do all these fight scenes. And we had to adapt the fight scenes because now I had a limp. And so we had to change the fight scene and have one of the guys stab me in the leg with a knife. So it made sense that I'd have a limp. And I had, right after that, I had to chase an ATV with the cameraman on the back, and I'm full speed running after this group of ninjas and on a torn ACL. And I'm like, I'm doing this once. We're doing this one time, ready to roll. Let's go. You don't get it. We're done because I can barely stand on my leg right now. And I full speed sprinted after this ATV with a camera guy. And that was it. And then we had to finish the next day with the fight scene and went to the hospital in Thailand. And I had a 40% tear in my ACL.
So, and Victor, you just have to come back every week so we can hear these stories. I know you just come on. It's COVID. You don't have anything to do. Just come on. I just want to get this straight, and it's hard for me to get over. You were thrown from an elephant tusk 13 times, and on the 13th one, did you ask for that take? Were you like, can we get one
Guys,
more?
I can fall better.
What in the world, man?
This was the director. A lot of times in fight scenes, as you guys know, they shoot pieces.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They shoot the first 6 or 7 moves, the second 6 or 7 moves. This director didn't like to do that. He wanted to shoot the whole thing as a master. So this was at the end of the fight scene. So this was 13 full fight scenes. Punches, kicks, spinning kicks, sword work, all kinds of stuff. And this was at the end. So I was completely depleted. It just so happened that we didn't clear the ground well enough. And there was an embedded rock that was sticking up about 3 inches to a point, and I landed right on that. And that's what tore my knee.
Ooh. Unbelievable.
That being said, elephants are one of my favorite creatures, and they're incredible and they're beautiful. And it wasn't his fault.
And let's talk about Matchmaker now.
You signed up for Scorpion King 4 Quest for Power, so it didn't stop you from recurring that role in the next film.
I've broken almost every bone in my body doing various things. I'm a crazy adventure seeker, motorcycle, skydiving, rock climbing, like all this stuff. So getting hurt is just part of the game. You know, there's a saying, it's like fun costs blood. And
hard pass, Vic. Hard pass.
Yeah, it's just something that I love to do. So it didn't scare me. Like the thought of going now to Romania and shooting in these castles and jumping off these walls and riding camels and doing it. It was, for me, that is, I'm all in. Let's go.
I was going to really talk really good about you in 5 Star Christmas, but now I feel like you're just being wasted in these movies. Like, what are we even doing with Victor Webster in here? Just like kissing the girl at the end of the movie and sitting around his hometown the whole movie. Like, are you kidding me right now?
Well, now we know why he was willing to sing Blue Christmas. It was a thrill. It was a thrill.
That's right.
Oh my goodness, that was scary, guys. You have no idea. I've never sung in front of in public, never mind on camera, and then have to sing like an Elvis song.
It was one of our favorite moments of the season, Victor, and I mean that in all honesty.
So I've got a really interesting story for you about that. So originally in the script, there was going to be this whole thing where I started singing, and then somebody pulled out a cell phone and started playing the song, and then all of the carolers started joining in to sing, and it became this huge like La La Land big musical piece. This was the last scene of the day. We had 20 minutes to shoot the entire scene. So all of that got scrapped, and we had 2 takes on a steady cam set up for lighting. I think maybe we did 1 pop on a close-up of her, but we shot that entire scene in 2 takes, and I think it works so much better just her and I connecting, walking up, me being thoroughly embarrassed, singing by myself. But that wasn't what was in the script. It's what we had to change and adapt.
I agree with you 100%.
It was so authentic. I would have loved to see the other version, like as a bonus.
Yeah, the version we get is like you don't get to see that kind of vulnerability in Hallmark movies. Like you just don't get to see it, and I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Really honest.
Well, I guess we talked about Scorpion King, so let's talk about Hallmark. and how you got started there.
We didn't even get to mention Christmas Ice-tastrophe. This is an Ice-tastrophe.
That is a masterpiece. Right
what is it called?
Christmas Ice-tastrophe.
Just really quick, give me the pitch. What am I watching here? Because I'll watch it tonight. What am I watching?
Oh, can I read you the IMDb plot? The plot.
Yeah, let's hear it.
A meteorite brings ice and freezing temperatures, which threatens to harm the residents of a small town at Christmas.
I love it.
Let me tell you the adventures I got to have in that movie. I got to race a snowmobile. I got to shoot a flamethrower. I got to jump off of a speeding boat in the water. I don't know if that take made it in, but I think I'm just racing in the water. I got to drive 100 miles an hour down a road and do like a 180 like sliding turn. Like I got to do so much fun stuff in that movie.
Well, you're number one.
Awesome.
You're number one on the call sheet on this movie by IMDb. You're the first cast member listed here on IMDb. So he was the lead in that movie.
Is that what got you on Hallmark? And Hallmark see that and be like, this guy, if we tone it down a smidge, we might have something.
Hey, look, Christmas was in the title, so
That's
it
right.
might have been, subliminal messaging.
How did it really happen? How did you get on Hallmark? What was I don't know what the first movie was, but how did it all start for you there?
Hallmark was it was an offer to be in a movie called Puppy Love with Candace Cameron Bure, who I can't say enough good things about. She's absolutely amazing. And I'm sure you hear that all the time.
Oh, yes, we certainly do.
She doesn't let us enjoy that. Like, we haven't talked to her yet.
She won't come on our show,
But
Victor,
still,
so
it's fine.
put
We're
in
not
good
holding
words.
a grudge. I'm sure she's great.
But yeah, and it was, it was about, we connect over finding, lose my dog, she finds a dog, and we connect over that.
So that was all the way back in 2012. Which we missed that one. When do you come back and work for them again? It's not for a few years then, is it?
No, I was off doing other stuff and always knew that I wanted to come back. Hallmark there's such a great, it literally feels, and I'm sure you hear this all the time, it feels like a family. They treat me really, really well. They take care of everybody well. Every set that you work on, everybody has, mad respect for each other. It's a well-oiled machine. There's never any drama. So I love working for them.
Matt, yeah, and maybe my comment about you're not going to get hired if you're not nice, that's true on Hallmark. Yeah. It's not true in regular everyday life.
I think that's very true on Hallmark. I don't think they hire people that are a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, Dan. Have you heard about Harvey Weinstein? Like, I don't think.
No, I'm sorry. I do ask that question.
Hollywood's so nice.
Yeah, no. I was talking about Hallmark is what I was talking about.
Of course.
So now you were in, it looks like Magic Stocking, maybe your next one on Hallmark. So you did 3 or 4 years. So is it every time, like, do you just wait for a call from Hallmark and then you just see if it fits in your schedule? Is that pretty much how it works?
Yeah, I'll read the script and see if it's something that, I think that we would enjoy or that I would enjoy doing. And if it's a character that I like, I mean, they're all fairly similar. I also am interested to see who I'll be working with, who the female lead is. They have such a great.
You've worked with the heavy hitters of the network. I mean, you've worked with Candace Cameron Bure, Jill Wagner, Bethany Joy Lenz, and Danica McKellar. And so you're working with the kind of like the cream of the crop from a standpoint of notoriety. Not that there's any that they don't love on Hallmark, but that you say those names, those are the big names. Is that just coincidental? How's that happen?
I don't know. Not by my choice or by design on my end. But I think it's just internally they decide who to put me with, and I've been very fortunate to work with some very, very talented actors. And
he was in, I believe, Lori Loughlin's Last Christmas movie.
That's right.
So another heavy hitter.
Yeah. Oh, Lori Loughlin. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Lori. So Danica, Candace, Lori, and Jill Wagner. And I've missed another one.
BJL.
And Bethany Joy. Holy cow, man. If you get one with Lacey Chabert, I think you've pretty much done it.
You can hang it up, my friend.
Hang it up. You're good to go.
What more is there?
I just feel sorry for them having to work with me.
Everybody, and we've talked to several people from When Calls the Heart about Lori, and everyone, it's another person everyone speaks so incredibly highly of whenever we talk about her. But we had an actor on who was on When Calls the Heart, and when he auditioned for the show, Lori picked him up to take him to the audition. Like we couldn't believe that was a real thing that happened in real life. Like,
that doesn't surprise me. On the movie I worked on with her, she knew everybody's name. She brought, the whole crew from When Calls the Heart. She knew everybody's name. She knew what was going on in their life. She was so respectful to everybody, went out of her way just to make everybody feel comfortable. I don't have a single bad word to say about her.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems to be the take.
I think 2022, I think she'll be back.
She'll be back on When Calls the Heart. She'll be back on Hallmark. I mean, what are you going to do?
Hollywood loves a good comeback story. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. And what she did wasn't in Hallmark's camp of immoral to the standpoint of we can't bring you back on either. Like what she did, you can kind of move on and you can get another chance. I mean, it just is what it is. And I think, in all honesty, I think everybody wants to see her back on the network. I mean, why not? You give her another shot.
Let's talk about Five Star really quick because it's the most recent Christmas movie and the most recent movie we saw you in. We were shooting the stuff a little bit beforehand and talking about how much we loved it. It was both of our favorite movie of the holiday season.
That and Delivered by Christmas.
That and Delivered by Christmas. Yeah. It's great. Super different. When you first saw the script, were you like, man, this is a special one, especially in this genre, in this world? What was your first reaction when you read the script and you saw all that was going on in this movie?
I love the comedy in it. I love that they really pushed the comedy and they were going for it. And I haven't read a lot of scripts where they in the script, the comedy was written there and they were really going for it. I had a talk with the director, Christy Woolwolf, and she was like, no, we're going for it. We've got a green light to make this a comedy and an ensemble comedy. And I was like, I'm in. Let's do it. And everybody brought their A game and such a diverse cast. And like I said, everybody brought just something so fantastic. And there's so many ad libs in this movie that weren't in the script and so many things that we tweaked and just, tried to build upon. It was awesome.
It felt like the most organic Hallmark movie I'd seen. That probably is because the ad libs or because it's not in that same similar 9-act structure that has the same rises and falls. I mean, it has some of that, but it does feel like a very organic ensemble piece of work. Is that the one you're most proud of all your, like, we'll take Matchmaker out because you're kind of promoting Matchmaker. Of the movies, is that the one you're most proud of for Hallmark? Or does another one stick out?
Yeah, actually, like if I was to say, hey, watch one of my Hallmark movies, the one that kind of stands out for me, I mean, like you said, they're all great, but that would be the one I think is the most unique and probably the most fun.
Yeah.
Like to show you how different this movie is, like the Blue Christmas story and this amazing moment with you singing it. Like, we don't even get the full story. And the way that they chop it up and they edit the movie, like, we don't even get the full story. And so to take this in traditional Hallmark, this would have been a huge part of the story because it's going to be a big part of the romantic gesture at the end. And in this movie, it is a part of it, but it's like, this is going to be between the two of them.
That's right.
And you don't need to be privy to all the information. And at the end, the reaction is going to be what like shows you how much they love each other. Like, that's really different for Hallmark and really great.
Yeah, and that moment is alluded to by the campfire.
Yep.
And where she talks about it, and there's that whole speech in the very beginning of that is all ad-libbed by Bethany Joy.
Wow.
And it was great. And she did a whole bunch of different versions of it. And it was just, we had to get into talking about it and how somehow weave that in an organic way. And then it was just a moment between us, and we didn't need to water it down or dumb it down for the audience, because I believe people that watch Hallmark are very smart and they just get it. Like, you don't need to spell everything out for them. And it's about the sentiment of the two characters at the end. At the end of the day, you didn't need to know everything that led up to it.
For sure. Absolutely.
Let's talk about Matchmaker quickly. Danica, just amazing career, obviously. Also seems super sweet. We were trying to get her before the latest one and it just didn't work out time-wise, but maybe one of these days. But she seems fantastic. I think it's Andrew Walker who said that she's the most prepared person he's ever worked with, like notes in the margins and just all over the place. Is that kind of what it was like working with her? This is your third one with her, obviously, so you're used to it. But what's it like working with her and the mystery aspect versus the traditional Hallmark rom-com fall in love?
She's extremely prepared. She's also a producer on the movies.
Yeah.
So she's involved in every aspect from the very beginning of it, and she knows exactly what she wants to do, and she has her notes written down. She's very prepared, but she is also open to collaborating and being given notes by the director, and she's all about making it the best movie that it can possibly be. And it's not just about, well, this is the way I want to do it, this is how I'm doing it. Yeah, she's clearly done all of her work, and I think I've only ever heard her mess her lines up once or twice ever in 3 movies. Like, she does not mess up. But like I said, she's also very open to adjusting and collaborating.
She's a producer. Do you know if she got to pick you, like the person she was working opposite of?
I don't know. I can't imagine anybody doing that.
Let's say yes.
So,
let's just say yes.
I think she saw you.
We just got word from our producer. Yes, that is what happened. Danica chose Victor Webster. We'll start that rumor right here.
Victor Webster. Oh yeah, let's pick him.
Yeah, for sure. Are we ready for rapid fire?
I think we should do rapid fire.
Let's do it. Man.
We're each going to ask you 3 questions. You have to answer as quickly and honestly as possible. Cat, come on. Is that your cat?
Sorry, my dog is licking up my cat's throw up. Hey, Nova, no.
And things are picking up here. Things are getting crazy. We're going to each ask you 3 questions. Answer as quickly and honestly as possible. More on the honesty, less than the quick. Dan?
Yeah, the thing in Canada that the United States just doesn't make as well, or like isn't as good here as it is in Canada.
Poutine?
It's like a gravy cheese thing. Like, I've never had it, but that's what
It's French fries with cheese curds and gravy on top, and you can get crazy. You can put bacon. You can do all kinds of stuff in there, but definitely poutine.
Okay.
You told us the elephant story. Phenomenal. I just want to make sure we don't miss anything or leave anything on the cutting room floor. Is there a stunt that tops that, like in your career, or that even comes close to being thrown across the room by an elephant 13 times?
No, there's some that are up there. Well, actually, no. Yes, there is.
Oh.
So I shot a movie. I'm going to make this as fast as possible.
You're fine.
I shot a movie in China. It's called Wings Over Everest, and incredible, like, fun movie. And they recreated Everest on an outdoor set. Part of the movie, you guys are never going to see it, so it doesn't matter. I'll spoil it. I'm hanging off the edge of a cliff, and I'm supposed to be fighting for my life, and then I end up getting let go and falling to my death. So while we're shooting that, I get hooked up to a wire harness and a wire rig, and I'm like, I should probably see what is actually going to be saving my life, and what kind of machine they have. Is it a decelerator? What kind of equipment do they have down there? And I look, and it's literally 5 dudes about 110 pounds each holding a rope, and I'm 80 feet up in the air. And I look down and I'm like, hold on. I need to see somebody on this before I go. Now, mind you, leading up to this, standing on set, there's a huge green screen about 30 feet high and about 25 feet wide. And it was just after lunch, and we were standing there blocking, and the guys holding the ropes during a windy day fell asleep, and the thing came crashing down and missed me by about 6 inches and would have definitely have killed me. So that and blowing, snow in our faces, and the type of snow that they were using has been outlawed in the States for over 10 years. The nurse on set giving me the wrong kind of medication for a cough that made me violently ill for about 6 days, until I had my doctor look into it and said, "You're on the wrong medication." And I've been throwing up for 6 days while taking this. So it was craziness.
Gosh.
After all of that. So now we're leading up to this, right? And there's a few more things, but So I had them put a guy, they said, like, okay, we're going to send a guy up there. So they send a guy up, and the guy's like half my size and weight. I'm like, no, you need to send 2 guys up here because I'm 240 pounds. And with all this equipment on, I'm about 260 with all this, like, exploring equipment. And so they showed me and everything. But when I actually did it the first time, I guess the guys weren't expecting, because the guys were just like slowly dropping off. In this scene, I'm supposed to violently go back. And I probably dropped about 10 or 11 feet, and sheer, like, the rope must have just slid right out of their hands. And I've got a few cardboard boxes from 80 feet up to kind of block my fall. And I probably lost about 5 years of my life and about 40 or 50 more gray hairs. So yeah, that was a crazy story.
Dude. Was the budget on this movie $10? Like, what in the world?
No, it was they do things differently.
Well,
over there.
I clicked it on IMDb, and the trailer looks like a very big budget film. I just hope you got paid a lot of money, Victor, for this, because that sounds absurd. The movie looks like a great time.
We could do a whole podcast just on that movie alone and the stuff that went down.
Oh my goodness,
insane.
Oh boy, I just can't.
So sorry for rambling on.
No. Rapid fire is not about your response being quick.
It's not a great name.
It's a bad name.
We should call it triple fire or something.
Triple double,
the Fire
triple
Boys.
Stack.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. We're just brainstorming.
You were in the movie, because this is going to be a slow one too. You were in the movie Surrogates, and I have listened to a lot of podcasts and listened to a lot of people talk about Bruce Willis. Do you have a Bruce Willis story? Because I feel like everybody has one. Do you have a Bruce Willis story? And if you don't, the answer is just no, and that's fine.
No, Bruce was super cool to me. I played the helicopter pilot, and in this one scene, and we had to fly around, and he was in the helicopter with me, and I mean, he's been doing this business for years and years and years, and he expects people to be on their game. He is on his game. He comes ready to work and stuff. He doesn't want to come and show up to set and sit around while people are still dinking around with lights and things like this. Like, when you're done, call me, I'll come to set. So the only thing that ever happened with Bruce was he just got upset when he would be continually called to set and have to just sit around. He's like, call me when you're ready and I will come to work. But I have got stuff do in between, but that was it. He got a little upset at somebody for, continually wasting his time, which I can understand to a certain degree, but that was the only Bruce Willis story I have.
Well, Kevin Smith says it's called BWT, Bruce Willis time. And he says if he shows up and everything's not ready to go, he will walk back in his trailer. He's not going to waste his time. You're on Bruce Willis. You're on Bruce Willis time. It better be ready to go. And if not, he's going to be in his set. And Kevin Smith was like, look, we went out drinking afterwards. He's a cool dude. I wrote some stuff for him. I rewrote some of his scenes. He loved me. But if he was not coming to set, if it was not ready to go. And it's so interesting and that's not the only one I've heard. I've heard like 3 podcasts say that. So it seems to be foul pole to foul pole that's how he operates.
100%. And if he's been in this business that long and you're ready, then call him to set when you're ready.
And he's earned that right. If you're diehard, you've earned that right.
I like to think whenever he nails it, he just
Christmas movie, by the way.
That's right. Yeah, sure. You get it. You get it. Sure. We argue about this. I think it's a Christmas movie.
I will say, if you like me, I have to come to terms with the fact that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, because it is the same thing as Home Alone. Home Alone is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Kevin's getting it's action. It takes place at Christmas. If you think it's a Christmas movie, you have to say Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Right. And so I have come to terms with it. Yeah. Yes, it's a Christmas movie. But I like to think when he nails his lines, he just says yippee-ki-yay. Like, I like to think that's he just goes for it. Man, I would hang out with you all day. And so let's just say if we're going to go to California, which we do from time to time, we're going to hang out. We're going to spend the day. We got a day in California. You're taking us somewhere. What are we doing? Spell out the day for us. Pitch it to us, and we'll let you know if we're on board.
All right. Well, first, we're gonna have to pick you up at the airport in style. So I'm gonna have to pick you up in some sort of old convertible Cadillac, muscle car or something.
Love it.
Then we're going to Fonuts. We're getting donuts in the morning.
Yep.
And then we're going to go down to the beach. We'll probably hang out down there, maybe play a little bit of volleyball, swim, whatever. but then we'll go on motorcycle rides.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
If you
Yeah.
guys don't ride, we'll get you in a sidecar if you don't ride.
Sidecar, baby.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. And then I don't know. We'll do something adventurous. We'll do some go-kart racing. Maybe we'll do some throw some axes in the backyard. Do something fun like that. And then I don't know. Maybe we chill out in the backyard, have a couple cocktails, and then we'll go. I have a favorite barbecue place called Boneyard Bistro up the street. We'll go and get some brisket. We'll get some ribs. We'll do some fried macaroni and cheese balls.
Yeah.
And then we'll end the night off with a nightcap, watching some sort of awesome action movie in the theater room in the back.
Ooh, theater.
this.
Maybe Wings Over Everest in the theater room. Maybe.
Oh, boy.
Could we do?
Yeah,
could
there
we
we
do?
go. I haven't even seen the movie yet. I don't know. I haven't seen
Could
it.
we do
Dude.
Wings Over Everest Ice Catastrophe double feature? Could we do that in the theater room?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that would be. I think there'll be a lot of tequila involved in that for me.
Just promise me this, Vic. If we do get to hang out, which I would love to, you will do us the solid of letting us watch Wings Over Everest with you for the first time.
Please.
If you guys can find it, I will watch it. I don't know even how to get it.
Oh,
We'll
Brandon
get
can
it. Oh, I'll find. I'll call a guy. I'll do whatever I have to
think my
do.
brother sent me a link for it a while back, but I haven't actually checked it out.
Wow.
Love it.
All right, so take Boneyard out of play. The best meal in Los Angeles is
The best meal, taking Boneyard out. That's a tough one. I like a lot of flavors. I like a lot of different things.
That's what I'm talking about.
So there's a couple good Mexican places. You can get some enchiladas and some chips and guac, or there's a great Indian place that we love. We get some butter chicken, get some papadon with mango chutney.
Let's go.
Maybe do some samosas.
Yeah.
I keep getting it mixed up with the Girl Scout cookies, the Samoas.
Samoas, not Samoas. That would be an interesting combo, though, for sure.
Little dunk.
Exactly.
Yo, I just want to eat. I think Victor and I would have a good time just eating through Los Angeles because
sounds great.
everything he's talking about, from
100%.
barbecue to Mexican to Asian food, I'm in. Let's do it right now. And donuts, too.
Yeah.
Bring it.
flying.
Have you had a Krispy Kreme donut hot and now off the line? Have you had one before?
100% I have. My fiance is gluten free, so I'm gluten sympathetic.
Oh, God bless
I don't
you.
eat gluten around her or any of that. So, but sometimes when I go to Home Depot to get some stuff, I'll sneak into Krispy Kremes and I'll get 4 donuts. I'll probably do 4 at once. And I'll just cram them down on the ride home.
Yep.
She'll see some icing on the seat. She'll be like, "Where did you go?"
Man,
I love it.
I'd have way more fun with you than I would with Paul Green. Paul Green's day just makes me sad. Paul Green's just giving me vegetables throughout the day, and I'm like, Paul, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
I know Paul. He's awesome. He's got
the
that
best.
very holistic kind of hippie
Yeah.
lifestyle, which is amazing.
No,
it works for him. I have a bunch of friends and mutual friends with him. He's a great guy.
He is a great dude. He's come on the show several times. What's great about Victor though is that he's like outdoor adventure, but also I'm gonna eat 4 donuts at
That's
once.
right.
And
That's my type of guy.
what I aspire to be.
That's right.
That's the guy
Life's
that I'm
all
like.
about balance.
It's all about balance, baby.
That's right.
Last question. Between modeling and acting, you've been able to travel the globe, see so many cool places. If you were to move to one of the places you've been, outside of the U.S., outside of Canada, you're going somewhere else around the world to live for the rest of your life, where are you going?
That's a really good question. It would have to be Europe, maybe Cinque Terre in Italy, maybe Barcelona, Spain, or Mallorca is pretty awesome as well.
Wow.
Love it.
Man, gave us 3 answers.
So good. Vic, this has been
Yeah,
wonderful.
well, I mean, I fell in love with Barcelona. I did the running of the Bulls 2 years ago, which is probably not a very popular topic.
You did
But,
the running of the Bulls. Like you ran.
Yeah,
Come on. How are you not on the Dos Equis commercials? Like, you should be the guy who's the most interesting man in the world. Like, you're just holding back on us over here.
He's running with the bulls, eating donuts.
We're over an hour in, and he just casually tosses out he did the running of the bulls. Are you kidding me right now?
It's carbo loading, man. Eat those
right,
donuts
man.
before the run. Yeah, there's 3 sections. There's the running of the bulls. Then there's the bull ring where you get locked in the closed bull ring with the adolescent, really angry, fast bulls. And I got picked up by 2 bulls and completely ass over tea kettle thrown. At the end, she's my girlfriend at the time. She's yelling at me. She's like, Victor. I'm like, what? A medic grabs me and pulls me out of the bull ring. And I'm like, what? Let's go. And I'm like running around with like a chicken with my head cut off. And she goes, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fantastic. Why? She said, look at yourself. And I looked down, I'm covered in blood. I've got my arm I have a big scar on my arm, and I put a bull tattoo over it. I got a running of the bulls tattoo. I got blood on the side of my head. I'm like covered in dirt, and the medic starts washing out my cut. And they're like, you're done for the day. You're done. And the third part is the bullfighting, which I'm not a big fan of because I don't like, the old school bullfighting where they kill the bulls and all that. I'm not a part of that.
Yeah.
The new bullfighting is amazing. The ones where they do flips over the bulls and avoid the bulls, but then don't kill the bull. I'm all for that.
In for that. I'm with you there.
Your manager has to love you. He calls you up, hey man, we got a potential role. Sorry, I just got hit by a bull. We'll talk soon.
Dude,
oh, I love it.
That's unbelievable.
Victor, thank you so much, my friend. This was so much fun.
You've been unreal, man.
So much fun.
Great.
We'll have to have you back on again soon. Tell everybody how they can
I would look forward to that.
Keep track of you on the social medias and follow you along and all that good stuff.
I have the Facebook and I have the Twitter. I don't really use it. I do live tweets on that, but I do use my Instagram quite a bit. It is I am Victor Webster, and then I also have a photography page, which is just Victor Webster Photography.
Right on. Fantastic. Thanks so much, man.
Victor, thanks so much. And we always end every episode by wishing our guests a very Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark is a Bramble Jam podcast recorded live in, that Greenville, South Carolina. Is produced by Brandon Gray. Set decor by Plum Haywood Mall. For more information on all Bramble Jam podcasts, you can go to bramblejampodcast.com. For more information on how to listen to Deck the Hallmark ad-free, you can go to bramblejamplus.com.